I've lost sight of the current mission, which is to add a bit of shadow, and so we're gonna do that. Don't look at the Oreos. I was in a bad spot. We're just gonna breeze through the drawing process since this video is not about drawing, it's about painting. Oh, paint cam, move stuff out of the way, cam. Blow aid from Liquitex, it just kind of makes your acrylics a bit runnier, which I like. I gotta be mindful of where I put my hand so I'm not covering all the action. My go-to is these two colors. It usually gives me a really nice purple, and then I'm gonna throw that back into my skin tone mix and hopefully have something that can pass as a shadow. Maybe try to brighten that up a little bit and add some warmth. I feel like that's a really cool color, and I think that'll make this underglow look all right, and then throw that in some other areas too so that you're not wasting your paint. As you can see, there's not like a lot of rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. This might come as a shock. I'm feeling confident because I know I've done this a bunch of times, and a little overconfident at my current state of mind. I really like using a kind of fatter brush for what I think the size of the canvas is, and I feel like that helps make some bolder strokes right off the bat. Keep me nice and loose so that I'm not really getting too precious about where I put paint. It doesn't matter, it can always be fixed, or you can always just not care and leave it. So since I've used some of that color in the hair, I'm gonna sprinkle it into the main part of the face just for funsies. I'm kind of at the point where I'm looking at it being like, oh God, it looks weird. Like, I know I'm probably gonna do a good job, I think. But this is really that part where I get here and I'm like, what have I done? Live commentary Nico is going to take a break right now because he needs to focus. And I didn't get very far before I started talking again. So I kind of skipped a step, almost like an ink layer with a dark paint color. Note to self, better brushes. Oh, that's gross. Oh, too much? I fully admit at this point that there's no real rhyme or reason to where I'm adding this color. All I know is that it's gotta get used up. I'm not really thinking all that much about where this is going. I'm like, I dip the brush and I put it on somewhere that feels right. I can't tell you what makes something feel right or not. And it'd be interesting to explore whether or not that knowledge of what the right mark is, how do I know how to do that? I don't know where it comes from, what causes it. This is where the painting really gets exciting, is when I stop caring. I'm just kind of doing things for fun, just to have fun, just to have something to do. I've let go of trying to care about what goes where, and the focus just becomes trying to follow a rough structure of like what's shadow and what's not, and everything else will just kind of be. Because I admit that I don't really know what I'm doing, it really gives you that imposter syndrome, because I can't explain it all that well. It's just happening. You're witnessing it at the same time that I am. If you throw enough paint at the thing that you're painting, eventually something will happen. You just gotta be like courageous enough to let go for a little bit so that that fun stuff can happen. I'm hopping back on the microphone because I have accidentally vaped myself into oblivion because I was painting and hitting that thing without paying attention, and now I'm here. Now I am in a place where painting is really, really fun, and I need to remind myself that maybe that's something you should keep doing. There's this push towards, hey, you shouldn't do drugs and stuff like that. But my God, did they put me in a better place where I can feel better about life and have fun painting again. I went from being super depressed on the couch, unable to move, and now I'm like back. Just being in a different, altered state of mind helps with willingness to do this, to engage with looking at colors and then pushing them around until they like make, in this case, a face. I'm so different now. I feel different. I feel less pain and anguish. I am Canadian. This is legal here. This is fine. Ooh, I like that. That's cool. I think that's gonna be my favorite. Now I can't touch anything around this. I have to keep this as is and hopefully not mess it up. I don't recall putting that down there intentionally, so if it sticks, if it works, I will take credit. as the body vessel for whatever is controlling my consciousness right now. Is it me? Is it like this other buried version of me? What is this? Who am I? What is this monologue? This is my like warm highlight. I have a cool highlight as well, and I like kind of intertwining them. We add it in spots around where the highlight should be so that I have a combination cool and warm highlight. I can probably work some of that in a little bit more while it's still wet and get some like interesting patterns happening there. One of the few times I'll actually be able to explain my thought process, because most of the time it's like, what is even happening? Who is controlling the ship? Who's running the show? How do you even know how to do this?
I know Kung Fu.
A few minutes ago, you were just on the couch and now you're painting. What happened? I'm noticing that I'm using a lot of the same sort of brushwork. Everything is very square and short and quick. So I'm gonna try to be a bit more courageous and add a bit of variety in the brush strokage. So at this point, I'm getting shapes that actually read like a face. So I also become less concerned about this looking exactly like the reference. I'm just like, okay, the light, here's the sort of like light shape. Here's the shadow shape. As long as I can conform to those basic shapes, I am free to almost like freely fuck around in like a light area and then a dark area. Lighten it up, just adding some glow to vary that shit up a little. Yeah, okay, I like that. Oh, and I didn't cover that, so we're in a good spot. We're doing well. You know, I like that too. It kind of looks like this concave shape, so I'm gonna try to keep that. That's working for me. Am I inviting you inside? Whoa, that's cool. Because the brush is shit, it created these like 3 marks, but I kind of like that. It's cool. Let's see if I can add that. Yeah, sure, why not? Why the fuck not? Man, I'm really liking that. That's such an accident. That's not planned at all. Okay, let's not overuse it in the same area. Let's spread it out a little bit. I'm really happy that I was able to try some new stuff with color. I feel like this, I'm operating in a very familiar color palette and material space, but that allows me to do like really interesting things, in my opinion, because I'm just more comfortable with the medium and I'm not thinking about how to use the medium. I'm just thinking about like making cool shapes. You know what? Let's try to stay loose with all this other stuff. There's a shadow there. Might as well use up some of that paint. Going for real dark now. Why am I talking quieter now that I'm going slow? Why am I whispering? I'm not in a library. I'm gonna break the rules a little bit and use some acrylic gouache as opposed to just straight up acrylics. Oh gosh, I hope no one finds out. There's just no way you can mix this neon purple. You just need to leave it to the paint color swatch wizards out there. My stomach just started to hurt and I realized that's probably because I just ate a bunch of Oreos and ice cream as a way of coping with my emotions. There's even this subtle squiggle here that I really like, and I don't even know how that happened. Or maybe I just do the background. Let's just do the background. Fuck it.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
The painting decided for me. We're doing a very subtle, like, glow background. Can't be mad when the mistake goes right. I want to see what happens if I add this light teal to the background. There wasn't enough of it. I think it's gonna have to come down. Sure. This is me currently struggling. I'm gonna fast forward to maybe a clip of the end, be like, oh, okay, this is nice to know that I can get to something like this and save it. And if you'd like to hear some more of my thoughts on art, click over here.